Have you ever found yourself feeling or thinking that you're the most invested person in the room, or that you're the only person who's applying themselves, or something like that? Um, the best way that I can kind of articulate my recent experience with this is whenever we had this icebreaker in one of my classes last week. I don't want to like gaslight anybody or anything, but I'll just kind of share this experience I had. But this icebreaker that was had at the beginning of the class was a question, um, and it was, "What have you learned about yourself this week?" Um, One of the students answered that um, I can do anything if I really set my mind to it. I didn't I didn't really like that, and it really kind of like frustrated me. Um, and it's because like there's several reasons, but first one I would say is my problem with the question itself. And it's that we've been asked this question since we were kids, and we have been told the answer is to say that we can do anything if we really set our mind to it. And we don't deeply even look into what that answer really means and necessarily even believe it, to our core all the time. It's, but the context of this was the I this that side whole side of the room where that student is, and it's like I mean they're young, they're really young, and so it's like procrastinating. Ironically, it's procrastinating to the very last minute, and then working really hard to hit all the deadlines, and they did it, so it's possible. Congratulations. I didn't know that there was a lesson in that. I would hope that the lesson would be maybe not to do that, but no, it's actually to validate themselves that they're doing good and they can do it. And so it just comes across to me like you're not invested in this, and it's it's kind of a bummer. It makes me feel like am I like the only person here who's applying themselves? Am I the only person here that's really invested and able to just apply themselves? And I say that across for the whole like room because that set the mood, and everyone's like, yeah, great answer, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, is everyone really just that like unaware of themselves? Like, is this really like what you want to come across as? Like, if I don't know, like if you're interviewed by like I don't know some important figure or somebody influential, and they're like, "What have you learned about yourself this week?" And are you gonna say, "I can do anything"? I don't know. Like, I just it doesn't really it so. But what would I answer that? How would I answer that? And I was immediately turned off by the whole question. It was like, oh, this is dumb. Like, I'll say like guitar or something dumb, something that I don't even care anymore. Right now, I'm not as invested. I don't think I came. I don't think I said something mean or stupid. I wanted to, but I didn't. There's no need to like act on that feeling at all. And but I mean, I don't remember what I answered. It's not really the point of what I had gotten from that from what had happened. I'd say, but whenever I look at that deeper, like what have I learned? Well, I learned maybe not about myself. I like to think I know myself rather well. I'm kind of at that point in my life to where um, it's mostly about learning about things and how I can apply myself. But but what I have learned and what I learned from that specifically was about the feeling that of being the smartest person in the room. Not that you are, not that I believe that or anything like that. It's just like the whole everybody else comes across as so dumb or so unaware that I must be the only person that's actually there. And it's not like I'm a superior thing. It's like I need to get out of here. Um, so like when that happened, it was kind of like a little moment of doubt of like whether or not I even want to be there. if this is the kind of culture that we're cultivating here, what are we doing? You know, we're wasting my time at least. But so and it kind of goes to show that you know, I'm not as invested into this um, that for what I'm studying as a social work for what I'm studying as I once was, and I'm not as invested in as I am in other things, but I'm still, from my perspective, really invested relative to my compatriots. So it's just it's just odd. Things like that are what make me really wonder if I'm um, in the right place. And I know I've heard that this is a great place to be. You know, I believe that it's a great place to learn. I'll say on this in college and stuff, I've learned a whole lot of stuff. I haven't been challenged, but I've learned a lot. But then ever since I came to where I'm currently going to school at, it's been a kind of a disappointment, really. Um, it's like because I transferred from like the community college to the university, and I think I can kind of frame it like this, right? People who go to community college are people who actually have to engage in real life. Meanwhile, meanwhile, whenever we train of thought. It's easy for you to go back. Um, yes. So at community college, it's like people who have to engage in real life. We got like parents, we got people who have to work, people who have kids, work full time, and they're going to class. They're like in it. They're in it, you know. And then we got, you know, like university. Like these are the people that are like fresh out of college, and they don't generally they're not going to have as much going on at the same time. So it kind of makes sense that the perspective and being able to apply yourself or not being quite as aware of yourself can happen. And so I can understand that. And I wasn't thinking about that whenever I transferred. You know, I was thinking about, yo, this place is like next caliber, next level, and then I'm just hit with like a what? And there's a few other things too. You know, like you know, people are people. You know, professors on all that, like I see them make mistakes, and I think it's just because I'm just watching, and yeah, and I kind of think that might be the reason why I'm a little bit discouraged lately. Um, but this lesson of what have I learned about myself, and the answer being that I can do anything if I really try. I, I mean, if we all really believe that, would be pretty cool. I think if I was better with that personal belief, I'd be pretty well off. I think it's like a I don't think it's just like a solid yes or no. I think it's kind of like, where am I today on that? And for all I know, that the classmate that answered that, right, they may not actually be talking about procrastinating. I think that they were, but they could. They may not be. They could be talking about something else, something like real life. Who knows? But from what I could gather, nobody in the room is invested. If I can be more invested than they are, then I'm just discouraged. I don't. It's like I don't have a peer, which is, you know, I think something that a lot of people can struggle with. Um, when people aren't on your level, wherever that level may be, whether they can't come down or whether you can go up to that level, it's kind of isolating. It's like being the only person who can actually apply themselves, being the only person who's actually capable of doing something, the only person that is just invested, really. Um, it's pretty isolating. I mean, I hit all the criteria of being alone. I mean, for in that context, you know, just my age, the way I apply myself, you know, my background, everything. You know, I'm just I'm different, um, which is normally just that's just fine. It's kind of isolating, you know. Um, and it's almost as if maybe in my life it's like I'm on this journey to like find that peer. Who's that person? I do think though that whenever I meet somebody who I'm able to relate to really well, it turns into maybe slightly competitive, and I think that in and of itself is part of who I am. And whenever that happens, the person who's like me can see my level is also that way. And so then just myself and then whoever I might be competitive with, we're both just on this island by ourselves, hoping that we're not alone, but making ourselves alone. And it's like maybe it's because whenever that person I'm competitive with, right? Whenever they're there, they're a threat to our tendency to think that we're the main character, and to our tendency to think that I'm the smartest person in the room, and for real, not that everyone's dumb, but that I'm the best, right? Anything that comes to be a threat to that, we're gonna want to be combative too, naturally, unless we're really being cognizant of it. So, yeah, that icebreaker was really a bummer, um, and, um, and I'm probably being nitpicky, but I really do think that it is a thing that we experience where we're the most invested person, and I'm afraid that if I am the most invested person everywhere that I'm at, that more I'm at isn't where I'm supposed to be. If I'm the most invested and that's not really where my passion is at, then that's going to be leading to burnout. That's going to be leading to unsatisfaction. So, yeah, um, I just really want that to be smooth.